The air in the restaurant was thick with the smell of garlic and something vaguely Italian, but all I could taste was bile. I'm 30, and my ex-wife, Diane, same age, just dropped a bomb that made my stomach hit the floor. She wants to move our kids, our 2 kids, to another damn country with some new fiancé and expects me to follow. Yeah, you heard that right. Me. Follow her. The woman who walked out on our marriage years ago. It's like a bad joke, but nobody's laughing. Diane and I met in college, different departments, but our friends thought we'd hit it off. They weren't wrong. We had a lot in common, went on a few dates, and by our 3rd semester, we were locked in. Got married a few months after graduation, and our first kid, our son, came along within a year. Back then, we both worked, so our parents helped out with him. It was a scramble, but we made it work. Then, when he turned 1, Diane decided she was quitting her job to stay home. Honestly, I was good with it. He was tiny, and I wanted one of us there. Plus, our parents were getting older, and I didn't want to burn them out with constant babysitting. So we shook on it. She'd handle the house and the kid, I'd bring home the bacon. I wasn't raking in big bucks then, but when Diane quit, I knew I had to step up. I dug in, worked my ass off, chased promotions. The goal was more control over my hours and, obviously, more money for the life we wanted. Seemed like a solid plan. The only hitch? I was spending a hell of a lot more time at the office than at home. Initially, I didn't think it'd be an issue. Diane had agreed to it. She knew damn well we weren't rolling in it, and if we wanted a better life, I had to grind. But then the complaints started. You're never home. I'd try to explain. I'm working, Diane. For us. For the family. She just wouldn't hear it. Started accusing me of having an affair, saying she couldn't believe I was actually working that much. It was ridiculous. Every conversation turned into a shouting match. She was always on my case about not giving her enough attention. I swear, it felt like I was talking to a brick wall. A couple of weeks after our son's 3rd birthday, she hit me with another surprise. She was pregnant again. We were happy, genuinely. Even though I knew it meant even more financial pressure, I was thrilled to be a dad again. That second pregnancy was harder on her, and it definitely strained the marriage even more. But we pushed through, or at least I thought we did. We didn't split until our daughter turned 3. I tried everything to make that marriage work, but she just wasn't in it. She'd checked out during her second pregnancy, and that stung the most. Things got ugly between us. We were good parents, sure, but we couldn't stand being in the same room. The spark, the connection we had in college, it was gone. It felt like the love just evaporated one day, leaving nothing but bitterness and anger. Even when she was pregnant with our second kid, she treated me like a stranger. I couldn't even think about slowing down at work. I had to keep pushing. There was talk of a promotion, and I was one of the youngest guys there. My hard work was about to pay off, and I couldn't slack off. My kids depended on me. I needed to provide for them. I desperately needed Diane to understand that. But she just wouldn't get it. I guess she expected life to stay easy breezy after kids, like it was before. She wasn't ready for the responsibilities that came with parenthood. And she took it out on me, blaming me for not spending enough time with her or the kids. Maybe her, sure, I can concede that point. But the kids? Never. Every spare minute I had at home, every weekend, was for them. After our daughter was born, Diane just seemed to lose interest in the marriage. I suggested marriage counseling. Waste of money, she said. So I tried date nights, tried to make an effort, but she was always cranky, always mean, always disinterested. We were constantly fighting. It felt like she was deliberately trying to back me into a corner, pushing me to file for divorce so she could leave without the guilt. Something messed up like that, I don't know. But she was pushing me away, hard, especially after our daughter arrived. She had given up. A couple of weeks before our daughter's 3rd birthday, we were planning her party. I can't even remember what the fight was about, something stupid like the color scheme. But it blew up. She started bringing up insane stuff, like how I loved the kids more than her, and that I'd forgotten about our marriage. That's dumb. I shot back, reminding her about the counseling she refused, how she was the one who wouldn't give us a real shot. Somewhere in that blame game, I guess it clicked for her. She just left. Not kidding. In the middle of the fight, while I was trying to talk sense into her, she walked out. Didn't pack a damn thing. Got in the car and drove off. Didn't hear from her for days, even though I was trying everything to reach her. Checked her parents' house, knocked on every friend's door. Nothing. A week later, she showed up at my doorstep, divorce papers in hand. No conversation, no nothing. When I saw those papers, I knew it was over. There was no going back. I'd given it my all, or at least I felt like I had. I couldn't drive myself crazy trying to fix something that was clearly broken, not with 2 kids to think about. They deserved better than constantly seeing their parents scream at each other over something as dumb as a party color. So, we agreed to end it. I signed the papers. The custody arrangement was surprisingly smooth. We both wanted shared custody, and we worked something out. It was a relatively peaceful divorce because, by then, we both accepted it. That acceptance made it easier to handle. I kept the house and one of the cars. She took her stuff. Done. 3 years ago, that divorce came through, and we've had a pretty peaceful co-parenting arrangement since. Not friends exactly, but on good terms. Or so I thought, until a couple of weeks ago. Our kids split their time between us, half the month with me, half with Diane. They're happy, we're happy. Then, about a month ago, Diane called me up for lunch at a local spot. That's when she dropped the bomb. She was seeing someone. And not just seeing someone, she was engaged. A lot to take in. First off, I had no idea she was even dating. Neither of us had been in a serious relationship since the divorce. She doesn't owe me a heads up, I know that, but a little courtesy would have been nice. Before I could even process that, she hit me with the second part. She was engaged, and they were moving to Canada. This guy, Alex, he's a couple years older than us. From what I gather, he's involved with his dad's company, and they're apparently setting up a new venture. So he proposed, she said yes, and they're set to move in a few months. This is a massive problem. I live here. Our kids live here. Co-parenting has been easy because she's just a few blocks away. Canada? That's a whole different ballgame. I was stunned. She just blurted it all out, no preamble. Engaged. Moving to Canada. I thought, for sure, she was going to tell me she was giving up shared custody, that the kids could visit her for holidays or whatever. Instead, she said something even more insane. If I wanted to see my kids, I'd have to uproot my entire life and move with them. Her and her new husband. I honestly thought she was joking. Then she looked at me with that straight face and said she wasn't. She actually expected me to leave everything behind, my job, my life, and just pack up and move to Canada because she wasn't giving up custody. My blood was boiling. I was about to lose it, right there in the restaurant. But I kept it together. Public place, didn't want to make a scene. Instead of yelling, I took a deep breath, tried to think rationally. Asked her about Alex. Good thing I did. She told me they'd only been together for 6 months. 6 months! And they hadn't even lived together. To top it off, the kids hadn't even met this guy. And she expected me to just let them take off to another country with him. I told her 6 months wasn't enough time to uproot her own life, let alone expect her kids and ex-husband to do the same. She laughed. Laughed in my face. Said I was just jealous because I'd never experienced the kind of love she and Alex shared. It took everything in me not to roll my eyes, or maybe shake her. It was the dumbest shit I'd ever heard. What kind of woman just ditches her whole life and expects her ex to do the same for some guy she's known for 6 months? And it got worse. Alex, apparently, had just broken up with a 6-year girlfriend 2 months before meeting Diane. They met at a bar. He bought her a drink, asked her out. She found him cute. 3rd date she was in love. He was really into her. So, when he told her about the Canada move and proposed, she said yes without a second thought. This might work in some sappy romance novel, but this is real life. She has 2 kids. And an ex-husband she apparently still needs to consider, according to her. As much as I appreciate the idea of love at first sight, this whole thing stank. I told her as much. I wasn't moving to Canada, and I wasn't letting my kids move to Canada. She needed to seriously reconsider. She flipped out. Accused me of being jealous, of trying to sabotage her happiness because she was finally doing better than me. We were on the verge of a full-blown screaming match, but I held back. Told her to think about what she was saying, then get back to me. I was sure it was just some stupid midlife crisis, that she'd come to her senses. A week went by. No change. I called her. She had thought about it, she said. She was sure about Alex. Sure about taking the kids. Then she gave me an ultimatum: either I move with them, and Alex would help me find a job there, or we could do things the hard way and go to court. She clearly expected me to back down. But this was beyond ridiculous. I'm ready for court, I told her, and hung up. I called my lawyer immediately. He was a pro, helped me through the divorce and the first custody case. If anyone could help me navigate this fresh hell, it was him. We started digging. Alex, heir to some wealthy industrialist family, partner in his dad's business. That explained Diane's confidence. She probably thought she could just buy her way out of anything. They were powerful, influential. Didn't matter. No way in hell was I letting my kids be taken away. We went deep. Everything about Alex, his family, his relationship with Diane. Just to be safe. And what we found wasn't pretty. We talked to some of his business associates. Alex owed them a lot of money. They thought we were calling on his behalf, and they didn't hold back. Said he'd been cutting deals behind his father's back, off the books. That's why they hadn't sued yet. Lots of complaints against him. It clicked. He was running. Moving to Canada to escape all this, before his dad found out he'd been screwing up the family legacy. And Diane? She was in on it. We found out they hadn't met at a bar like she claimed. I talked to some friends who still kept in touch with her. Turns out the alimony wasn't enough for her, so she got a job as a secretary. For Alex's father. That's how they met. It was easy to put 2 and 2 together. They were trying to escape to Canada, leaving the mess behind, and they expected me to just let them. I bet Diane hadn't even stopped to think about what this would do to me, or to the kids. I was furious. I decided right then and there. Full custody. She told me she was moving away anyway. I knew I'd be left with no other option, unless some miracle made her change her mind. But finding out all this dirt? No way. Filing for full custody was the right thing to do. I didn't want my kids anywhere near her if she was this dishonest, this willing to screw people over for her own gain. So, my lawyer and I filed. And I decided she wouldn't get unsupervised visitation. If she was around the kids, I had to be there. After all these lies, who in their right mind would trust Diane? She'd lost it, clearly, willing to go to any length for a man she barely knew. I honestly think she got involved with him for the money. I mean, he's probably still got a ton of it, which is why she's sticking with him through all this. Diane loves her parents, and I can't imagine her leaving them behind for any other reason. Money's a pretty strong motivator, though. Just a theory I've been floating. The truth is, I still don't know why she's with him, knowing he's a crook. Maybe she actually loves him, but putting her kids, her family, at stake like this? That's not cool. A couple days after we filed for full custody, she got served. Of course, she called me, screaming. Unhappy with the arrangement, unfair, I was a jealous, unhappy man, trying to sabotage her happiness and her relationship with the kids. Thankfully, it was my turn to have the kids, so I wasn't worried about her snatching them. I spoke my mind. Told her I knew everything. About their scam. About his business associates. How they hadn't held back. Maybe unprofessional of them, but it worked in my favor. And honestly, nothing's more unprofessional than owing people money and then trying to skip town. That shut her up. She knew I had the truth. She knew I could use it in court. Not only would it get her in trouble, it would screw over her fiancé too. She had to tread lightly. She started begging me to keep it quiet, saying we could still work out an arrangement for her to see the kids occasionally. Not good enough. I didn't want her or Alex involved with my kids in any capacity. What they were doing was dangerous, illegal. They were bound to get caught, and I wasn't letting my children be part of that. So, I laid down a condition. If she came clean to her boss, Alex's father, and promised me they wouldn't run off to Canada, wouldn't try to pull this scam, only then would I consider letting her have even visiting rights. I thought it was fair. More than fair, actually. She could play it safe, do the right thing, even if it was just for her kids. But she turned it around. Said I was blackmailing her. Blackmail? I wasn't gaining anything. If anything, I was trying to help her. We were close once, and I'd hate for her to end up behind bars, which is exactly where she was headed if she went through with Alex's plan. She tried to explain, if they came clean to his father about the deals, Alex might get fired, his dad might cut him off. Alex was just trying to start his own thing. His dad didn't think it was time, but he couldn't wait. So he went behind his back, invested, and it blew up. Now they couldn't tell him, because he'd know they screwed him over. That would mean trouble, and she wouldn't be able to take care of the kids anyway, so custody would be pointless. On the other hand, if she went through with their plan and ran to Canada, leaving his father to deal with the mess, she'd lose custody, but at least she and Alex would buy some time. I don't see the dilemma. The choice is clear. But she thinks I'm a horrible person, that I'd put her in a diabolical position where she loses either way. I don't think it's unfair. She should have seen this coming when she decided to go along with Alex and screw over her own boss. I'm still giving her a chance to clear her conscience and get visitation rights to her own kids. But even then, I'm the bad guy. And honestly, I've even started to question myself. Is this even my business? Am I overstepping? My lawyer says our best bet is to push for full custody, that it's easier. But I don't know what to do anymore. Am I the asshole for telling my ex-wife I won't give her visiting rights if she doesn't come clean to her boss, her future father-in-law, about this scam? Update 1. It's been about 3 weeks since I posted, and a lot has gone down. After a hell of a lot of arguing, begging, and bargaining, I finally convinced Diane she needed to tell Alex's father the truth. There was no other way out. The more she fought it, the deeper she would sink. If we're being honest, her plan to run to Canada and escape, leaving Alex's dad to clean up their mess, was always a shitty plan. It would have blown up in her face eventually. I actually did her a favor by cornering her, forcing her to make a tough call. I guess she finally came to her senses and realized she was being an idiot. So, she made the right call. She even managed to convince Alex to tell his father the truth. She let me know later that, in a surprising twist, his father actually forgave him. Said he understood Alex screwed up. So now Alex still has a job, but he's been made to step down as a partner, and his father isn't retiring anytime soon. That's the short version. The custody battle is still officially ongoing, but I think, as of now, I'm going to stick with shared custody. I think I'm going to have to cancel the proceedings. One thing's clear. Our kids love their mother just as much as they love me. In the past few weeks, both of them have been driving me absolutely insane, constantly asking when they'd get to see their mother again. Even Diane has been requesting me to call off the full custody arrangement, especially since she did what I asked and even apologized for losing her head during their little crisis. So yeah, I guess my best bet is to let this thing go. Update 2. Okay, I did it. My lawyer and I decided we weren't going to push for full custody anymore. But just to be on the safe side, we agreed Diane would only get the kids for 1 week every month. If everything goes well over time, we might go back to the usual 2 weeks. She thanked me for it, but things are still really cold between us. I don't think we'll ever go back to being friends or whatever we were. We're not on good terms, and I'm guessing it'll stay that way for a while. But it's alright. I'm fine with it. I did what needed to be done, and I don't have any regrets. Update 3. Just a quick update. It's been about a year since that whole fiasco with Diane. She and I aren't in touch anymore, apart from anything directly related to the kids. I wouldn't say we're on good terms, but whatever. I heard she and Alex got married in some private ceremony a couple of weeks ago. I wish them nothing but the best, honestly. I've also been seeing someone for the past few months, and it's going really well. Everything's peaceful, and the kids are happy, which is more than I could ever ask for.